Hey there, funny finding you here as we dive into the arc length of parametric equations as well as, oh my, surface area. Now arc length is something that is tested fairly frequently on the BC exam and in most calc classes having to do with parametric equations, but surface area is not as frequent. I used to test it in class. I've never seen it as a topic on the BC exam. But here it is. We'll do both of them in this video. Let's go. So first we're going to find the formula for calculating arc length of a parametric curve. And we're going to do it geometrically. So let's pretend that we've got some curve right here, and any point on that curve is the point x of t, y of t. Again, any point is described by those two functions like that right there. So what do we know about the arc length? Well, an arc length is basically made up of lots and lots of tiny straight lines. Like if you were to take tiny, tiny straight lines and add them up over and over again, we would get the length of this curve. And so what we're going to look at here is this right here, if we think about it, is a, well, dx dt. It's like a very, very small change in x, if you will. So dx dt times, if you want to do it this way, dt. And I put dx dt there. Oh my goodness. Up is down, down is up, left is up. Oh my goodness. This is dy dt. All right, so dy dt is the change in y over time times a small change in time would get me a really small change in y, right? This would give you dy. And you might be like, wait, what? Geometrically, again, I'm going at a certain rate upwards or down, and I'm multiplying by a very small change in time. That'll give me a small change in y. Same idea here. I've got dx dt times dt. That would give me a really, really small change in x. Now, why is that important? Well, what I want is the arc length. Because as we get really, really small and we shrink this triangle down, you still have dx and dy. So to figure out this length right here, which is eventually going to be this length, those tiny little pieces that we're going to add many of them up to basically make this curve happen. Take many, many small straight lines, super tiny straight lines, that'll give you the length of that curve. So, well, we'll use the Pythagorean theorem. So a lot of people call this ds. Isn't that funny? They call that length ds, a very, very small change in the arc length, s. So to figure that out, again, we've got dy, we've got dx. We know that this would be the square root of dx squared plus dy squared. And where am I getting that from? Well, dx squared is a very small change in x, dy squared, very small change in y. If I square both of those, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Take the square root of that, that'll give you ds. Well, let's go a little bit further. Before I integrate this, I want this to be in terms of time. And as we saw here, each of these can be written as such. It could be dx dt, so I'll take the square root here, dx dt times dt. That gives you dx, we square that, plus dy dt times dt. It's getting exciting. Oh yes. This is all to generate the formula, right? To understand where the formula comes from. And so that is equal to the square root of, well, let's check this out. You can factor out a dt squared from each of these and square everything out. So I get dx dt squared plus dy dt squared. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that dt squared from both of these. And the square root of dt squared is dt. And so that gives you the formula. dx dt squared, so it's the square of the x derivative plus the square of the y derivative, and the square root of dt squared is dt, equals ds. That gives you the length of this small little piece of the arc. But I want infinitely many of those. So I'm going to add up infinitely many of those pieces from time a to time b. And by doing that, I get my arc length. That's my formula right there. Some people will write this as x prime of t squared plus y prime of t squared. That will give you the arc length, or the distance that you travel along a curve. Now, a couple important pieces of information. The curve's got to be smooth. If not, dx dt and dy dt might not exist for all the t values along here, and it can't repeat over the interval. If you do a circle and you keep taking arc lengths again and again, you're going to be fabricating a length that isn't there. You're just going to be doing laps. All right, very neat. Let's use it. So it says find the length of the curve defined by the parametric equations. Hey, look at those. You remember those. Now we're going to use a calculator for this, for sure. I've got that over to my left here. We're just going to set this one up. Now to find the derivative, which we need in our formula, we'll do x prime of t is equal to 4t and y prime of t, we found many times now, is equal to just t squared minus 1. Now remember that the arc length is going to be over the interval, in this case from 0 to 4, which is this arc right here, of the square root of x prime of t squared plus y prime of t squared, or dx dt squared and dy dt squared. It's just different notation. That's it. So we're not going to do this one by hand. Oh dear goodness gracious, no, definitely not. Although it might actually work out by hand. We might be able to work it out. I'll go one more step here. This will be 0 to 4 of the integral. Square root of, now this will be 4t squared. So that's 16t squared plus t squared minus 1 squared. And you know what? No. I'm not doing this one out. No way, no how. We're going to keep it like it is, dt. And now I'm going to plug in my calculator and I will give you your answer very shortly. And with a little bit of editing magic, we get 37.805 rounded to the nearest thousandth place there, of course. Again, it's just a plug and chug into the formula. That's all. X prime of t squared, y prime of t squared, find x prime, find y prime, square both, take a square root. Most of the time this will be a calculator problem. Okay, so a couple notes. Note the dx dt and dy dt, they don't equal 0 at all at the same time, I would say, on the above interval. They might equal 0, but not at the same time from 0 to 4. So there's no place where we're not smooth. It's a nice smooth curve, in other words. The curve's not closed, meaning it's not a circle, so there's no threat of repeating over the same track. You could have a looping curve, right? And that would still find the arc length. That's not a closed curve. So closed curves, you got to watch out of repeating yourself again and again. All right, that's it for arc length. So from arc length, now we're going to go into surface area. So this one, recall that surface area is equal to 2 pi, the integral from a to b of the radius of revolution times the arc length, ds. So with the parametric equations, what we're going to have then is about the x-axis, you would have a radius going like that. That would be r. So r would be y of t, the distance from the curve to the axis of rotation. That would just be y of t times the square root of, and the reason why I'm doing the square root is the arc length part, that's ds. And so that's going to be x prime of t squared, oh my word, plus y prime of t squared. I would memorize your original surface area formula there. And if you have trouble on that, go back to chapter 7 with understanding where that formula comes from. So memorize this and then plug in the parametrics. Here, if we're revolving about the y-axis, r would now be equal to x. Here r was equal to y. That's why the y of t. Here r is equal to x, so r is x of t. So it just depends what axis we're rotating around, times ds, which is the arc length. And that's going to be x prime of t squared plus y prime of t squared. We've got a practice problem coming up right quick, where we're going to put these things to use. Here we go. That's it. That's the parametric equivalent to all of those things. Let's rock and roll now. So the final problem in this video has us finding the surface area of the solid formed by revolving that region. That's a funky looking region. -1 over root 2 is less than or equal to t is less than or equal to 0. Yeah, that's weird. About the x-axis, so that's this curve here. We're going to be rotating this way first. So we're going to go about the x-axis. That would be something like, like that roughly. And whatever the surface area of that is, so it's the area of the surface. And so it's about the x-axis. We see that r right here is equal to x. Remember, the way to memorize that is 2 pi, the integral from a to b of r ds. And our formula that we're going to use then is 2 pi times the integral from a, which is -1 over root 2, to b, which is 0, of r, which is, oh, I said that's x. My goodness. I'm confusing my x's and my y's. R is y, right? Because that's a y distance. So it'd be y of t times the square root of x prime of t squared plus y prime of t squared. We're going to use a calculator for a good part of this. No way I'm doing this by hand. dt. So let's find x prime and y prime. So x prime of t is equal to 4t. Y prime of t is equal to the derivative of y of t, which is t squared minus 1. And so that's going to be equal to 2 pi times the integral from -1 over root 2 to 0 of y of t. So be careful here. That's 1/3 t cubed minus t. Use the right functions. Times the square root of, And that's going to be, well, x prime of t squared, that's 4t squared, plus y prime of t squared, which is t squared minus 1 squared dt. All right, and I'm going to come back to that. We'll get the decimal equivalents for our answers, but that's the setup. All right, it's all calculated from there. So the y-axis now, if we're rotating that way, do that in a different color. It's going to be rotated like this. And so that's going to be like so. So now here, my radius is now x, r equals x. So we're going to use the same formula, except r is now x. So that's going to be 2 pi times the integral from, again, the same times, -1 over root 2 to 0. Now it's x of t, which is 2t squared minus 1. That's the radius, as we saw here, times the square root of x prime of t squared, that's 4t squared, plus, and that's going to be y prime of t squared minus 1 squared dt. And we'll get the decimals for both of those, and I'll be back with those answers in a jiffy. All right, now the first one, we get 2.951, and the second answer, due to, I guess, the values that we get and the order in which we're integrating t, we end up with a negative answer. We'll take the absolute value of that, and that's going to be equal to 4.410. The whole purpose, though, here are all about the setups, understanding how it relates to 2 pi, integral from a to b of r ds, and then memorizing and using those formulas. It's a beautiful thing. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.